What's up, everybody? I am Jaspreet Singh and welcome to the Minority Mindset. Everyone is confused about the economy. China is seeing their economy slow down. It looks like Germany is already in a recession. And here in America, nobody knows what's going on. On one hand, you have people talking about how we're in the strongest economy ever with the market booming and reaching record highs. And then the very next second, people are talking about us being on the verge of a recession. So if you're wondering what the heck you should be doing with your money right now, you're not alone. That's why today I'm gonna go over 5 things that you need to understand, and then I'm gonna go over what I'm doing with my money. So make sure you watch this video until the end. But before we get into that, make sure you hit that thumbs up button below because it's like a virtual high five, and subscribe to the Minority Mindset YouTube channel. That way you don't miss our new videos every single week. First, the economy moves in cycles. So this isn't something that I just made up. This is how the economy actually works. Our economy moves in cycles. There are times where the economy is moving up, called a bull market, and then there's times where the economy is coming down, called a bear market. This right here was 2008 to 2010. During this time, nothing was happening in the economy. The economy was at rock bottom. Nobody was buying anything, and the economy was horrible. Well, after that, the economy pretty much went straight up. In 2019, we reached the longest growth period in America in the history of time. Now we're seeing major economies around the world starting to slow down, and everybody's wondering, what's next? Will we keep going up higher, or will we come down, or something in between? Nobody can predict when a recession or a down period is going to start or how big it's going to be, but you can pay attention to what's happening around you. This way you can be smart with your money. The economy that we're living in today is not what it was back in 2012, which is why my investing strategy is not what it was back in 2012, which brings me to my second point. I'm selling the things I don't like. I invest my money differently than the majority of people. When I invest my money, I'm not investing with the goal of selling my investment for a huge profit. I'm investing with the goal of creating passive income. But because investment values have come so high with the help of cheap money, I decided to sell some of my stocks that I think are overvalued. And I also sold some real estate that was profitable, but wasn't as profitable as I would like it to be. Third, I'm paying close attention to what's happening around me. I talked about what's happening in China and Germany, and right here in America, we have a very important election coming. Donald Trump is going to base his re-election campaign based on the strength of the economy. So you can bet that he's going to do whatever he can to keep money cheap, to keep interest rates low, and to keep the stock market high. Will this work? I have no idea. Only time will tell. What I do know is that this fight for cheap money is creating a massive debt bubble because the Federal Reserve cut interest rates multiple times in 2019. This makes borrowing money easier so consumers and businesses can borrow, and borrow some more, which is fueling the student debt bubble, this consumer debt bubble, and this corporate debt bubble. When the WeWork IPO drama happened back in September or October of 2019, WeWork's valuation went from $47 billion all the way down to $8 billion in like a month. The only reason that's possible is because we have so much cheap fake money out there. Cheap debt can be really effective when you're trying to encourage people to spend and stimulate an economy when you're in a recession. But when you're in one of the strongest economies of all time, all this cheap debt is creating a debt bubble, and if this bubble bursts, it's not gonna be good. That's why I'm keeping a close eye on what's happening around me, and that's why I created the free Minority Mindset newsletter where we first break down the top finance and business news, and then we show you how this news affects your wallet. This way you can be money smart. This newsletter is completely free, and you can subscribe to our finance and business newsletter by clicking the link up here or by clicking the link in the description below. Fourth, I'm investing in me. The stock market and real estate market both got sliced in half after the 2008 crash, and anybody who had money were able to come in and make a killing even if they didn't know what they were doing. But the investors that did know what they were doing were able to come in and build massive fortunes, which is why they say more millionaires are made during recessions than during any other time. Now, to be fair, nobody knows how big the next recession will be, when it will happen, or what will cause it. But what we do know is that the economy moves in cycles and that people who have cash can come in and scoop up these investments when they go on sale. The tricky thing is that right now, investment prices are sky high, and at the same time, savings accounts are paying you next to nothing. So you're sitting between a rock and a hard place, because if you invest your money, you risk losing it because you bought at a peak right before it came down. Or if you save your money, then you're sitting there watching your money lose value to inflation. That's why I'm doing 3 things. First, I moved my savings to an online bank account because my online bank account is paying me many times more than what my traditional bank account was paying me. And if you want to learn more about who I'm using, I'll link some information for you in the description below. Second, I'm more focused on growing my business than I am my investments right now. That's why I have more money when investment prices come down. And third, I'm being super picky with the investments I do make, which brings me to the 5th thing I wanted to talk about. Analyze your investments twice. Waiting around with your arms crossed for the next recession to happen before you invest any money might mean that you have to wait for a long time, and it could mean that you lose out on a lot of upside. Investing is how people become wealthy, and investing is how wealthy people stay wealthy. But just because investing is good doesn't mean that you should just blindly throw your money into the market, especially right now. When investment values are high, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be investing. It means that you need to spend more time learning and more time analyzing and more time being pickier with your investments. I'm still looking for investment deals, but I'm only buying steals. I'm not buying things the way I was 5 or 6 years ago. If you are a newer investor, this is the perfect time for you to try a short-term strategy like the growth stock strategy you might have heard me talk about, or real estate wholesaling. This way you can learn the way that investing works, and you can do this without taking on a whole bunch of risk, and you can do this without tying up your money in the market for a long time. You're doing something and trying to flip it within a shorter amount of time. This way you can see how the process works. And if you want to learn more about real estate wholesaling, you can read a free ebook by our partner on real estate wholesaling, and I'll link it for you in the description below. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. What are you doing with your money right now? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, share it with one friend. And if you don't want to miss any new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, then subscribe to the Minority Mindset YouTube channel and hit the little notification bell. That way YouTube actually lets you know when our new videos are released. And as always, keep hustling.